It's an exciting time. The 2020 mountain bike race season is just about to kick off. Can you believe it? With the first big international race of the year, the first EWS of the year, over in Zermatt in just over a week's time. So let's take a look at what the 2020 EWS is going to look like, and it all kicks off next weekend over in Zermatt in Switzerland. Things will look slightly different, of course, this year because of the regulations, and some big news is that we might be missing some of the biggest riders in Enduro because of the travel regulations. So as it stands, some of them might be finding it very hard to get abroad, and those names include Richie Rude and Sam Hill. Obviously Richie is from America, Sam from Australia, and some of the restrictions at the moment might make it very difficult for those guys to be there, so that's very unfortunate. However, we will have some very exciting racing going on in Switzerland, and of course earlier in the year we announced the big news for us at GMBN that the Enduro Series are coming to us, so we'll be hosting the course preview, so keep your eyes peeled next week for that to show you what the racetracks are going to be like in Switzerland. And then the biggie, the race highlights, as soon as we can after the race, are going to be sat on GMBN. Racing hasn't been happening this year, but riding still has, and of course with that come injuries. So two names that we know won't be in Zermatt: Keelan Grant for Chain Reaction and Matt Walker for Pivot, both with shoulder injuries. But let's take a look at what the 2020 season is going to be looking like, the venues and what to expect. So all races will be happening in Europe this year. Of course, the COVID-19 situation means it's very difficult to basically run races anywhere else. And two of the biggest riders we hope will be there: Isabelle Coudurier, who had an undefeated season, of course, and Martin Mays coming from Belgium, although they really will be able to dot their I's and cross their T's to make sure they get everything straight, because there are still some travel restrictions within Europe. It was decided this year that there wouldn't be an overall Riders' Championship, but however, there will be a team championship, so this could be really interesting. Hopefully we'll see the big team send in, riders you may not have seen at Enduro World Series, so maybe downhill racers, try and boost their team to win that overall. Also, we're seeing the EWS re-emphasise how big it is to win just one round by awarding individual jerseys for an EWS win. Round one, the specialised EWS, Zermatt, Switzerland. 2019 winners were Martin Mays and Isabelle Coudurier. Following last year's stunning debut under the watchful eye of the Matterhorn, Zermatt makes a reappearance this year, except instead of being the season finale, it will open this year's racing. It's just a staggeringly beautiful place. You're under the shadow of the Matterhorn wherever you go, and for the top of the couple of the stages, if the weather plays ball, you're racing actually above the clouds. The stages are in the open with chunky rocks, tight switchbacks and high-speed single track, keeping racers on their toes. The high altitude and risk of mechanicals are always on the racers' minds, so it's a banger of a race to start the season on. Round two, Pietro, Lagura, Italy. Now this is just the neighbouring town to Finale, so another awesome trail network, actually part of the same trail network. This drops you down into a different town, and it's a new venue for this year. Organisers have built new trails here and restored old ones. No doubt we can expect sunshine, ice cream and some challenging trails, just like in Finale, which actually hosts round three the weekend after, so 2 rounds back to back in neighbouring towns. I would expect similar trails, but the organisers have built some new ones and restored some old ones, so you can expect some pretty long, challenging technical trails, all finishing down by the beach so you can cool off in the med. Round three, Finale, Lagura, Italy. The classic returns. Finale Lagura has moved on from the last round of the year to the Trophy of Nations last year, but will return to host round three of the 2020 season. Expect all the classics, including men's DH, as well as a few new trail additions. It will still hold the riders and team trophy races this year on the day before the pro race, but this will not be the Trophy of Nations as we saw last year. And entries are still available for riders and team trophies, so get them in whilst you still can. Previous winners, well, last year it was the Trophy of Nations, so it's team winners. It was the French women and the American men, which included Richie Rude, who won the previous year, 2018, the individual round. And for the women, that one was Cécile Ravenel in 2018. Round four, Montagna de Crew, France. Previous winners, Cécile Ravenel and Richie Rude. This will be the second time that we've been to this corner of France. It's quintessentially French too, in that it's just slightly off the beaten path, but it's an amazingly beautiful little medieval town. The trails are savage, lots of rocks, lots of tech, and one of the real tech tests of the year. The new course for 2020 promises much of the same, which means riders will be challenged with highly technical trails that will put their skills and equipment to the test on every stage. Round 5, Petz Jamnisa. This is on the Austrian and Slovenian border. In 2018, the winners were Sam Hill and Cecile Ravenel. This place was actually made famous by its 11 kilometres long flow trail, which does actually help to connect up some of the stages. It sounds super nerdy, but the dirt here is honestly some of the best for trail building anywhere we've travelled to. And the local team worked so hard to build some amazing stages. There's even a tunnel that's part of the Black Hole Trail that the riders take as part of a liaison. It's back in 2020, featuring some new trails and promises to be another rider favourite. So there you go, there's a 5-round 2020 Enduro World Series, and I, for one, can't wait to see some racing this year. Starts next weekend in Zermatt, of course, I've said already, but keep your eyes on GMBN. Subscribe, of course, you haven't, because the races are all going to be on our channel this year. What are your predictions for the racing? Leave in the comments down below. I think, personally, Martin Mays is going to dominate, as is Isabeau Cadure, but of course, Richie Rude could well put a spanner in the works. He is a pretty incredible rider if he gets there, but let's see, it's going to be an exciting year.